Welcome to another episode of the Liberated Woman podcast. I am so happy you're joining me again for some more nuggets of feminine wisdom. Thank you so much to every single one of you that tunes in every week, listens to the episodes, shares them, rates them, reviews them, posts them on Instagram, and tags me. I appreciate every single one of you for doing this, because the more that we can spread these podcasts out, the more people that get to hear them, the more women that can start their journey to liberation and really start to have the permission to break the chains and change the rules and find their own way of living a life that is no longer bound to the stories and the patterns that has been passed down through their ancestral lineage, that stops them from really moving forward in a fulfilled way within their life. And this particular podcast series, now I'm going to start dedicating the next few episodes specifically to ancestral healing, because I feel so deeply passionate about this. It's something that I love to journey with my one-to-one clients, taking them on ancestral healing journeys. For those of you that are new to the podcast, hello, welcome. My name is Shani. I am a rebirthing breathwork facilitator, ancestral healer, light language channel, and feminine awakening guide. And it really is my life's mission that all women are seen, heard, and witnessed and find liberation in this lifetime. And those of you that have been joining me on the podcast for a while, or you've been in my communities or sat with me in my women's circles, my breathwork journeys, part of my world in any way, I really appreciate you for doing this work, for being the one that says the story stops here with me. I am a cycle breaker in my family. And it's not a small role to take, knowing that you are the one that came here to break these ancestral chains, knowing that you are the one that came here at this time to change the narrative, to change the stories, to, at a visceral level in your DNA, at a cellular level system, change the patterns that live within you so that your future generations don't have to go through the same patterns as you are. This is huge. And I really just want to take a moment to honor you for doing this work. It's a journey that I have been on for a very long time myself, my own liberation journey, my spiritual awakening, my feminine awakening, the journey back to the truth of who I am. And this is a really, really crazy journey, right? It's a crazy journey. It's definitely not love and light, new age bullshit. It's very much a journey into the shadows. It's very much a journey into the depths of your soul. And it can be difficult at times, and it can be uncomfortable at times. And at other times, it can be full of bliss and joy and ecstasy when you do break a chain, when you do break a pattern, and you come out the other side of that. And you're like, wow, wow, I feel so liberated. No more will I be a people pleaser. No more will I not have my boundaries. No more will I live in scarcity. No more will I live in fear of whatever it is that you're living in fear of. I will make that courageous move. I will say what I need to say. I will ask for that pay rise. I will make my voice heard and not feel ashamed of sharing my truth for fear of judgment. And there are so many ancestral wounds and patterns that live within us. And this is something that I'm going to dive into a lot more over the series of these new podcast episodes that I am releasing. But for today, I really want to dive into ways that I personally connect with my ancestors, and that I would like to share with you, that I share with my clients, so that you can find ways to start connecting with your ancestors in these very, very simple ways that you can do every single day in your life, that will form a deeper connection, so that you can start to perhaps receive messages that you need to receive, so that you can start to understand where certain patterns might stem from, where the root of those patterns are. And then from that place, you might have the curiosity to dive a little bit deeper into, okay, well, I have an awareness that this pattern is playing out. I've connected with my ancestors regularly, and I'm finding that this is what's coming up for me. And now I'd like to work on clearing that through so that I can start to shift that story and see a change in my outer reality. And that's where I invite you to come for an ancestral healing session with me, where we will dive deeply into that specific pattern or wounding that's coming up for you and know where it is lying within your body, where you feel it in the body, and how we start to shift and move that energy so that we can see where that pattern really is rooted. And then we can start to kind of gently unravel the roots, gently dig them up, not all at once because it's too much for your nervous system to handle, but to gently unravel them, gently dig them up, and to start to cultivate a space around where that root was that is clean and fresh with new soil, fertile soil. From there, you can start to plant your seeds and grow a new healthy story, a new healthy plant that is going to thrive when you nurture it. So this is what we do in ancestral healing sessions. And if you're looking for a longer term membership as well, then I highly encourage you to come and journey with me for my 8-month Liberated Woman journey, because in this journey, we don't just look at ancestral healing, we also explore your birth script, the way that you came into the world, how you were conceived, what patterns were passed down through your female line when you were in the womb, how you came into this world, and the patterns of behavior that you might actually experience in the way that you navigate through your life because of the birth script. We look at so many different things in the Liberated Woman journey. It's very unique to you. Each journey is bespoke to the person I'm working with, because each one of you is unique. Each one of you has your own patterns, your own journeys, your own desires for outcomes of where you want to be. And when we start to do this work to truly liberate ourselves, to say, the story ends with me, I am the cycle breaker in my family, I've taken on this role, I'm here for it, I'm committed to it, I'm going for it, then you start to really see the results in your outer reality. And I'm going to start sharing stories as well of my clients and things that have happened to me through doing this kind of work, through doing ancestral healing, through journeying with rebirthing breath work and light language activations that really have changed the reality, the landscape in which those women are now living, and in which I'm also living. And it's really inspiring to hear those stories and to know that if it's possible for them, it's possible for you too. So let's go back to today's topic, which is ways that you can connect with your ancestors. So one of the things that I like to personally do every single day is to go to my altar. And even here, where we are in Mexico, in San Cristobal de las Casas, where we're going to be for a little while, I've set up a little altar in our bedroom. And with this altar, I go to it every single day and I make an offering of a prayer to my ancestors. It's not a prayer that I'm reading from a book or a holy scripture or anything like that. It's a prayer that I tune into, that channels through my being, that channels through my heart, that I want to offer to my ancestors. So for this month of June, which is my birthday month, I have devoted this month to self-devotion, to coming back into a place of harmony in myself and devoting all of my time and energy to putting myself first and to coming back into right relation with myself and with my ancestors. And I'm doing this because of an ancestral wound that really deeply arose for me as I've been traveling from Costa Rica to Mexico and being on the road all the time. And this actually brought up a really deep ancestral wound for me of, it's not safe for me to stay in one place, because my ancestors were literally displaced from so many countries over the centuries that they've never really had a home that felt safe to them. And so this pattern has played out throughout my life, where I've always kind of, gaslighted myself for being nomadic and wanting to travel a lot and loving exploring different cultures and foods and traditions and landscapes and nature and all of it. But within that was a shadow, and the shadow was that I never felt safe to stay in one place. So I always felt like I had to be on the move. And this latest travel journey, where I've been on the road for 4.5 months now, has really, really highlighted that ancestral wound for me. And so it took me really to have a bit of a breakdown around it to come into a place of like, wow, okay, I really need to give myself some self-devotion and some time to work through this, because it's a huge pattern, a huge wound. And it's something that I really want to break so that my future children don't have to feel the same as me, that they feel safe to stay in one place, and that they understand that safety is an inside job, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world, they will always have a home within their heart. And in order for that to happen for my children, I need to be able to feel that first. And that is why I've dedicated this month to self-devotion. And part of that is to connect with my ancestors. So going to my altar every morning and offering them a prayer of compassion, of forgiveness, of love, of thank you so much for showing me where this wound lives within me. Thank you so much for gifting me the ability to travel freely from a place of empowerment, and not because I feel like I need to constantly be running away because I'm not safe. And this has been a really huge liberation for me in my personal journey. And it's something that I encourage my clients to do when they come for ancestral healing sessions or on my longer Liberated Woman journey, because we're doing a lot of deep work with ancestors, both in this lifetime and in past lifetimes. And so it's really important to forge a good relationship with them, because sometimes when you start to do this work, they might try and come in and sabotage it for you because they're not ready to break the stories and the chains. And I'll do a whole other podcast episode specifically on that. But it's important to forge this relationship, this connection with them, to show them that you are serious about this work, to show them that you want to be here to break the stories and the chains, but that you also honor the stories that they lived, that you honor where they came from. So number one is creating an altar and making a daily offering of prayer to your ancestors. And your prayer can be spoken, your prayer can be written, your prayer can be sung, it can be a dance. You get to decide how you offer that prayer. But for me, this is a really important part of my daily practice to connect with my ancestors. Number two, I often like to light a candle. Candles for me, and fire in general, is very ancestral and elemental. Our ancestors literally lived by the elements in many cultures and traditions, especially as I've learned here in Mexico, and a lot of the indigenous tribes here in Mexico. They honor the directions and the elements. So they work with fire, water, air, earth, ether, above, below, behind, in front, and inside. And when we think about many of our ancestors, your ancestors included, they were land worshippers, earth worshippers, worshippers of the goddess, of the feminine, of the earth, of the land, of the stars. They followed the skies. They understood the cycles of nature. So we've been so disconnected from this that for me, working with elements, whether it's the sacred waters, whether it's with fire, air, through breath work and through thoughts and through traveling kind of into the cosmos, or whether it's grounding through earthly practices, all of which are important. And of course, connecting to ether, with spirit, with source, with God, with past ancestral spirits, and with the unseen. This is really, really important in my life. And so I highly encourage you to light a candle, because lighting a flame and bringing in light into a space where there might be darkness, specifically if there is a wound that is playing out or a shadow, shining a light upon it and letting your ancestors know, hey, I'm here to shine a light on it, and I'm here to bring it back to the light. I'm here to take you out of the dark and back into the light. It's a really beautiful practice. And when you light that candle, you can also create an intention. Again, you can say a prayer, you can offer a mantra, or something that you would like to offer to your ancestors that also feels really good as a service to yourself. So it could be, for me, I'm working with the frequency of love a lot this month. So I've been saying, I am love. I am the frequency of love. I emanate love. When I love myself deeply, I can love others deeply. When I love the earth, when I love the sacred, when I love the waters, when I love the air, when I love the fire, I can love everything around me because I am love, and everything I do, I choose to bring it back to love. These have been kind of my morning mantras with the candle. But you can decide on your own prayer and your own invocation and your own incantation and your own affirmation that you would like as an offering to your ancestors. So number one was setting up the altar and offering a prayer and connection. Two was lighting a candle and invoking some kind of intention with it. And thirdly is making some kind of offering to your ancestors. So this can be at the altar or it can be outside on the land. But if you are going to make an offering to the land, please make sure that it's like biodegradable. Like don't offer something with plastic to the land or a tea light candle or anything like that. Make sure it's in reciprocity with the earth and keeping the sacred. So if you're going to offer something to the earth, let it be a little bit of your food that can decompose, or a flower or a leaf, or something that is safe for the planet, and that the mother of the earth will receive with love, and she will compost it and use the mycelial network to spread it out and to share it back to others. Offerings are something that our ancestors also did, making offerings to the land, making offerings to each other. And this is not coming from a place of like sacrifice, like I'm going to sacrifice myself or sacrifice an animal as an offering. That's not what I'm referring to. This offering is more of a reciprocity to honor the sacred, and understanding that when we're working with our ancestors, this is a very sacred journey that we're taking. We are literally working with the sacred. And in order to honor that, it's about reciprocity. So, we can't just keep taking without offering something back. Because if we do, our ancestors might get annoyed. They're like, hey, hang on a minute. I don't know if I gave you permission to do this work. I don't know if you actually asked me if it's okay. And it's the same with the land. Hey, you've just arrived on me. Is it okay for me to be here? Have you checked in with the land? Is it okay for me to pick that flower? Is it okay for me to pick that wild garlic? Always checking in with the land as a reciprocity for our ancestors. So these are three things that are very, very simple ways that you can connect to your ancestors on a daily basis. There are plenty more ways to do this, and I'll share more as we go along. But for now, these are just three really simple things that you can do every day to start to create and forge that relationship with your ancestors. If this has been helpful, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're curious to explore on a journey that goes a lot deeper, and you feel like there's a shadow or a wound coming up for you, and you want to really clear that through, then I'm going to link a link where you can book an ancestral healing session with me. These are one-off sessions, but I would highly recommend that you come back for more than one session, because there's usually many layers that we need to work through. And if you're looking for a higher level of guidance, if you're looking for more close proximity with me, where you get to converse with me in between sessions, where I get to set you soul work for integration, so that when you come out of your session with me, you're then actually implementing that into your life, then my one-to-one Liberated Woman journey is for you. Because in this journey, we use a whole host of different things to really get you connected to the roots of why some of these patterns are playing out in your life, and moving through that and cultivating space for new things to come through, so that you can start to see shifts in your reality, so you start to use your voice more, so you start to set your boundaries, so you stop people pleasing, so you drop a lot of anger that you might be holding, or resentment that you might be holding towards family members, towards your ancestors, towards the masculine, towards the patriarchy, and really liberating yourself and your self-expression and your creativity, bringing in back life force energy, and even tuning into some gifts that you might have been passed down by your ancestors, psychic gifts, clairvoyant gifts, the gift of empathy, the gift of intuition, the gift of being a witch, the witchcraft. Oh, I love it. I love it when my clients start to discover their gifts through this work. So I will post two links, one for ancestral healing and one for my longer term journey, in the show notes. And if you are curious, ancestral healing, you can just go ahead and book a session straight through the link. And for the longer journey, I only take clients who are really, really committed to this journey, because it's 8 months and it requires a lot of radical self-responsibility. So if you are curious and you're wondering if this is the right fit for you, you've been listening to me for a while, maybe you're not sure if I'm the right person for you to work with, then you can just book yourself a free alchemy call and you can hop on a call with me and we can just talk about it and see if it's the right fit for both of us to be working together for your liberation. Thank you so much once again for tuning into an episode of the Liberated Woman podcast. I love you all. Have a magical, magical day.